KMTV Action 3 News Weekend starts now with your Weather Alert First Forecast.
Stranded, stuck, and spun out. Driving has been a nightmare and nearly impossible. The first big snow of the season proved to be dangerous, even deadly on the roads this weekend. Good evening, I'm Megan Matthews along with meteorologist John Walsh. Kids across the metro are staying home tomorrow after the snow, wind, and cold canceled school. Omaha, Council Bluffs, Bellevue, Millard, and Papillion-La Vista all have a snow day tomorrow. UNO, Creighton, and Midland University are all starting late tomorrow. UNL is closed. Now, John, for those of us who have to leave the house tomorrow morning, what can we expect to see?
Yeah, we haven't had to deal with this in a while. Yeah,
Not at all.
Yeah, just bitterly cold temperatures tonight. It's still windy out there. We're going to be seeing some dangerous wind chills for one thing. Some areas will see wind chill values as low as 25 below zero, mainly areas to the west of the metro, including Lincoln, over toward Fremont, Norfolk, Tacoma. Still, we will have wind chill values in that 15 to 20 below range. It's just not high enough to meet criteria. However, it's going to be plenty cold as we drop below zero. Threat Tracker will stay in the yellow category for the cold temperatures early on Monday. And then we have some additional snowfall, some accumulating snowfall possible, both on Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be talking more about that in just a few minutes.
Nearly 6 inches fell onto the metro, and it packed a punch. The major issue tonight is the blowing snow. Lindsay Thies is live with a look at the roads and how they'll shape up for your morning drive. Lindsay?
Megan, we spent our day driving all throughout the metro, Gretna, parts of I-80 and Council Bluffs, and the main issue we saw was not just that the snow was falling, but that the wind was blowing it back onto the roads, and it was taking much longer to remove than normal. As the night shift of snowplow drivers begin their evening in Council Bluffs, the biggest challenge and headache for road crews is the blowing snow and drifts. Drivers of the 18 plows and 4 graders like this one were having a hard time keeping up. This driver told us the snow is also so wet, the graders were having a hard time picking it up. It's nasty roads like these that have all of the major school districts closed tomorrow. And the storm proved a headache for flyers at Eppley Airport today, too. Detroit, Dallas, and Chicago flights were either canceled or delayed because of the wind and snow. And all along the interstate, drivers abandoned their cars, like this stretch of I-80 near Giles. And at one point, we counted half a dozen cars in ditches. As for tomorrow morning, crews hope to hit the residential roads eventually tonight, but late, very late, likely the early morning hours. And while it's calm, peaceful, and pretty, it's a tireless mess for those cleaning up. Back out here live, Omaha police have suspended taking accidents reports. That means if you get an offender bender, they're not going to help you. They ask that you exchange information and call them safely. We're reporting live near 108th and L. Lindsay Thies, KMTV Action 3 News.
The Saunders County Sheriff's Department has identified the woman who died after a crash on slick roads near Wahoo. Deputies say 2 cars collided on Highway 92. Kathleen Schulzkamp of West Point was a passenger in one car. Wahoo Fire and Rescue gave her CPR at the scene. Doctors pronounced her dead at the hospital. Sarpy County Dispatch tells us rescuers helped evacuate dozens of stranded drivers along the highway this afternoon. Highway 92 is shut down tonight from Wahoo to Utan. Sarpy County officials also shut down rural roads earlier today. County plows are out tonight trying to get at least one lane open on all roads. You can see from this live picture, some of those roads are covered in snow. For more than 24 hours, road crews have been out clearing and re-clearing streets. Their work doesn't end when the snow stops. Reporter Kelly Bartnick hit one of Omaha's busiest streets as the plows cleared the way. He's live now from the NDOR Control Center, continuing our team coverage.
Yeah, Megan, we are live and we're in the control center. You can see down below me, pretty much it's command central for communications here at the NDOR control center, and they're monitoring the roads. They're being able to communicate with any of those plow drivers who are still out there yet tonight. Basically, all the work that continues while you're asleep thinking about tomorrow, they're making it possible for you to be able to get around at least as best you can tomorrow. Now, we also learned today that the work doesn't stop all day for city plow drivers either.
We're going to run down this a couple times and spread some salt on it and get it melting pretty good.
It takes time to get the roads clear, more than some drivers like. Steve Melman is one half in a two-plow team making rounds on Dodge Sunday. It's an endless loop.
If you take one truck, it'll take you all night to get anything done. With two trucks, you can get it done twice as fast.
Right now, they're going 60 blocks all the way west to 90th and back again. They don't stop until the street is clean, and those slick spots are treated and melting.
When it keeps snowing, you just keep staying on the same route the whole time. There's not much you can do about it.
This is a straight shot. Dodge is the backbone of Omaha's traffic flow. Crews hit major arteries like this first. Once they're clear, they move to these streets. Work on secondary streets should begin Sunday night, but some neighborhoods may not see plows until Tuesday. The work here takes more time. Streets are narrow, parked cars slow down the process too.
Wind blows, like later on today, if it picks up again and starts drifting, we'll be starting all over again.
So the constant in this post-snow fight is time. What can you do to speed things up? Be patient, go slowly, and give these guys room.
They're all over us. It doesn't matter how many lights you put on these trucks. It seems like it's a magnet to get closer to you.
In time, they'll get it done. Now, if you've been hunkered down all day and haven't really ventured out much, but you have to be out tomorrow morning, we're going to tell you what we tell you all the time, but it's very important. Allow some extra time, slow down, and if there are some plows out there, I know those guys would really appreciate it if you keep your distance from them too. It'll keep their job safe, and it'll get you where you need to go safely. That's it from NDOR, who will be monitoring the roads all evening, again, and working to keep them clear so you can get home. Reporting live tonight, Kelly Bartnick, KMTV Action 3 News.
And just to give you an idea of how quickly things can change on the icy roads, an officer with the Missouri Valley Police Department in Iowa captured this video on his dash cam. This is near Highway 30 and the I-29 interchange. A car spinning out right there on the roads. A very scary situation. Snowy and slick roads caused several accidents in western Nebraska today. You can see semis stalled and in ditches along Highway 44 in Buffalo County. Cars moving slow on the roads there as well. The heavy snow piled up on power lines for hours, causing thousands of power outages in Omaha and Council Bluffs. At last check, about 1,000 people are still without power. You're looking at a map from OPPD's website of the areas still without power. Nearly 17,000 homes and businesses were in blackout mode at the peak of the storm today. OPPD officials say the wind tonight is actually a good thing. It helps blow the snow off that's clinging to power lines and limbs. To plan your drive to work, be sure to watch Early Riser tomorrow with Matt and Ryan. That begins at 4:30 in the morning. We'll have the latest weather conditions on our website at KMTV.com. The snow hampered efforts as firefighters rushed to a house fire in Gretna. Crews had trouble reaching the home near 234th and Cornhusker Road. The roof is gone. Most of the house is gone. Firefighters fought the flames for hours. The first on scene say the house was fully engulfed in flames. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a massive 4-alarm fire at a nightclub in Lincoln. The fire started at the Karma nightclub around 7 last night. The roof collapsed during the fire and at least 20 firefighters were on the scene. Everyone inside got out safely. Omaha Public Schools is moving its board meeting from Monday to Wednesday night because of the weather. Bellevue Public Schools will still hold its meeting as planned to discuss a massive budget cut proposal. $4.5 million in cuts involves cutting 38 positions. The meeting is tomorrow evening at 6 at Bellevue East. Millard West High School will have counselors at school this week for any students upset over the loss of a fellow classmate. 17-year-old Tyler Hansen died in a car crash Friday night in Sarpy County. Police said Hansen was driving down 180th and Cornhusker around 9 o'clock when he lost control of his car. The car flipped over, ejecting Hansen and pinning him underneath. He was a junior at Millard West. Police believe he may not have been wearing his seatbelt. The driver who hit a pedestrian and drove off Friday turned himself in to police. Mark Fleming turned himself in on Saturday. Police say Fleming hit Roy Yeck around 1:30 in the afternoon near 30th and Huntington. Yeck had parked his car over the curb in the right lane of 30th Street. He was attempting to cross 30th when Fleming struck him and drove off. Yeck died at the hospital. Fleming has been booked for leaving the scene of a personal injury accident. A Crime Stoppers tip led to the arrest of an Omaha murder suspect in San Antonio, Texas. This is Ari Soto, wanted in the murder of Roberto Gonzalez in South Omaha last month. Police say Soto drove by and gunned down Gonzalez in the early morning at 24th and P. The San Antonio Gang Unit and U.S. Marshals arrested Soto at his friend's house in Texas. And John, it really has been a nightmare on the roads. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, it really is a very slick night out there, and you know, a lot of rural areas have had trouble opening the roads because of the winds, and Sarpy County being one of them. So that's one of the things that crews will be working at all night long. So it's just a nasty night to be out. If you don't have to, don't, as a matter of fact. As we take a look at our snowfall totals region-wide, we picked up about 6 to 8 inches of snow across much of east central Nebraska, and that extended all the way toward the Hastings area, surrounded by 4 to 6 inches of snow elsewhere, 7 in Fairbury. Norfolk picked up 4.8, Lincoln 7.5, Underwood, Iowa 8 inches, and to the north, Pender, they're the winner, 10 inches of snow up there in the southern sections of Thurston County. Let's take a look at our current conditions presently. And boy, the thermometer keeps dropping. 6 degrees, the present reading. North-northwest winds at 15 miles an hour. Fortunately, not quite as gusty. Most locations in the single digits. The cooler readings, Norfolk down toward Columbus. Still in the low teens, Atlantic and Clarinda, Iowa. The winds region-wide, still a little breezy off to the west or the east of us in portions of Iowa. But they'll slowly begin to taper off down to about 5 to 10 miles an hour. And certainly not the gusts that we saw this afternoon, and it was quite gusty. Epley, 46 mile per hour gusts. Lincoln, 45 mile per hour gusts, and Tacoma as well. So not as gusty, but any little wind when you have temperatures in the single digits and below zero, which is what we're going to be seeing later on tonight, will really drive the wind chill values down. As we mentioned earlier, about 25 below zero off to the west of us right now. Most locations, it feels like the sub-zero teens presently. Plenty cold. As we take a look at our network of radars, all is quiet for the time being. Most of the snowfall, or what little there was, well, even that east of Des Moines has pretty much fallen apart. Snow in Illinois up toward the Great Lakes region with that storm system, but cold, high pressure is going to be settling southward for us. And the skies will clear, winds will taper off even further, making for a very, very cold night. But at least the snow is done. Here's a few more snow totals for you. National Weather Service picked up 8 inches. Papillion, Boys Town, around 120th and Center, 8 inches. To the north, about 7.5 in most locations, Offutt with 7 inches of snow. And still some more. Gretna almost hit 9 inches. Fort Calhoun, Castana, Iowa, 8 inches, and most other locations around 7 inches to 7.5 around David City, Fremont, and over toward Glenwood. So you get the picture, a very snowy day. That cold high pressure settling southward. And as we take a look at our forecast model as it continues to settle in here, eventually we're going to be seeing southwest winds tomorrow. That normally would warm things up, but we've got a lot of snow on the ground to contend with, so it's going to be a chilly day. 8 below the morning temperature, winds dropping to about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Threat tracker still in the moderate category for the cold as we warm only to about 18 degrees. And then for Tuesday, 25 will climb to as a high, but more snow on the way. Tuesday, slight chance as the disturbance rolls through. A little better chance on Wednesday, and some of that could accumulate. Teens, upper teens, Wednesday into Thursday. Eventually we'll warm into the mid-30s heading into the weekend, Megan. Oh, one more order of business. We've got our weather kit. Can't forget that. Abby, age 4. She spent all that time dressing up. We got to acknowledge her, and she's ready for that 8-degree weather.
Oh, I've got Abby's same face right now.
Yeah,
She's not looking forward to that.
Look at the expression.
Thanks, John. NFL officials kept a close eye on the footballs tonight. How they secured the game balls after the so-called Deflategate scandal. That's coming up.